It is Monday, the 21st day of July, 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Good morning, and my name is Akin Labihola, and I know that you all are up and you're ready to go. And if you're not in Charlotteville already, you're making your way to Charlotteville, and it's good to have you here with us this morning. Adana, today is Natural Treasures Day.
That's right, and all roads lead to the east this morning as people go in to take in, what is happening there in Charlotteville. Is always, Charlotteville is so engaging.
Yes.
The day there is so engaging. There's so much to do, so much to participate in, dancing the cocoa, going on the trail,
Yes.
There's so many different things to do up there. Just to hang out with friends, just the environment is
Make it
really welcoming.
A whole day, family day affair.
That's right, that's right.
It's really, like you say, it's so enjoyable to see how our ancestors used to live, how they used to live day to day with the batty mill, washing the clothes at the river,
Yes.
the saw to cut up the lumber. It's always so interesting, and I know that people, Tobagoans love the belly.
That's right.
So the dirt oven,
Yes,
is always a hit.
And just the fact that just the way they used to engage, like when they go to the river to wash the clothes, the conversations the women would have there, everything that's happening in the community. That's where you get all the information there by the riverside as they go to, and I really want people to have that type of experience today, have the encounter, see how it used to be back in the day. And I really want to appreciate the older ones who have set the trend and who are handing over the baton, who is they are ensuring that the young persons kind of understand the traditions, the things that used to happen, and even if they want to modernize it, they still have the roots, the foundation of who we are and what we used to do and where we came from, to chart the way for where we want to go. So all roads lead to the east today as we head to Charlotteville for Natural Treasures Day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into all of our conversations this morning, we have to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 21st July, 2025. Amid Trinidad and Tobago's current state of emergency, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine convened a high-level security meeting on Sunday at the Hochoy Charles Administrative Complex. Attendees included Chief Administrator Carl Murray, ACP Oswin Suberu, Senior Superintendent Earl Eli, Lieutenant McKenna of Regiment, Coast Guard Representative Mr. Roberts, and private sector representatives Ken Jones Jr. and Reginald McLean and Alpha Lord of the THTA. The meeting focused on Tobago's security readiness and multi-agency coordination to maintain order and safety during the national emergency. Caribbean Airlines has clarified that no confirmed passengers on the domestic air bridge between Trinidad and Tobago on July 19 and 20 were displaced to accommodate government officials. According to the airline, all passengers with confirmed bookings traveled on their scheduled flights, and several standby passengers were also accommodated. In fact, 182 seats on the July 19 flights remained unused, according to the carrier. Caribbean Airlines' statement aims to correct public misconceptions that officials were prioritized over paying customers. Police arrested 81 people and seized 8 illegal firearms, including a rifle and shotgun, during a 72-hour crime sweep under the state of emergency. The TTPS says 185 operations were carried out nationwide with over 1,100 searches, 715 traffic offenses detected, and several rounds of ammunition and quantities of cannabis recovered. 70 known offenders were also targeted. The crackdown, according to police, is part of a wider effort to disrupt criminal activity and boost public safety amid the ongoing emergency. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Natalia, for our news there in 90 seconds and staying with the state of emergency that we are currently under. Well, we're in a place where we know that the state of emergency simply means that there's a relaxation of the laws, and the police are allowed to do much more than they would have been able to do on a regular day's business. And hearing the reports coming in there, you know, the thing for me is ensuring that there is, that you can assess and measure the success of the SOE that we are in. We want to see numbers. We want to actually get a report. We want to ensure that things have happened as a result of the SOE. Akilabi, I don't know where you are, where that is concerned.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. We want to see that there's some sort of lasting progress in the fight against crime, because this is the third SOE we've been under since 2010, I believe. And we end up, after the SOE, we just end up back to square one concerning the levels of violence in the society. So what we really want from the security services is that they make some sort of foundational breakthrough in dismantling these criminal organizations.
Natalia, I don't know, what's your position with this?
Well, Adana, I'm not going to answer your question, but I am going to throw a question back at the interviewers this morning. Now, on the ground, on social media especially, there's a lot of talk about how the parameters of the SOE is not enough, as opposed to what we've had in the past. What do you all think about that?
Well, so you're speaking about persons wanting the government to impose curfews and be much more draconian in terms of the execution of the SOE.
Correct.
I think it will make people feel safer, but perhaps for these purposes of what they want to achieve, it may not be necessary. So we kind of have to trust the security services that they know what they want to do, what they want to achieve with the SOE, and hope that they do that.
Well, some of the things you have to consider with an SOE as well, in as much as we are targeting crime and trying to reduce crime, there are other elements as well. There are other stakeholders involved in the whole national narrative.
Yes.
When you're talking about tourism, you're talking about persons who are looking in on the inside. And as Akinlabi said, this is the third SOE since 2010, and we just came out of one just in April, and we're back here again. And, you know, there is a lot of concern. So we have to be strategic in the way, you know, we execute duties, in the way we target specific groups. You know, the questions could be asked, was an SOE necessary? Questions could also be asked, why isn't there curfew implemented? You know, there are so many things that you have to consider. But we are here now, and what we are looking for is measurable outcomes in terms of ensuring what they said the SOE was implemented for is actually executed. And we could see, well, this is what was done within the period of the SOE.
And Adana, to add to what you just said, I think based on the data that we received this morning, even in the news, that the parameter with the curfew is not very much necessary, well, as you all would have mentioned. I don't think it is necessary because of the numbers that they've already roped in. So I think going forward, the SOE as it is should remain as it is.
Let's see how it goes, and let's see the continued reports coming in as they execute their duties. But it's, on a lighter note, as we say, it's Natural Treasures Days, and all roads lead to the east today. Natalia, are you heading east this morning?
I came from the east this morning. I know that the Charlotteville people are very much ready to receive you all.
That's right, that's right, and we can't wait to head up there. Viewers, whether you are going east today or you are staying wherever you are, we do hope that you have a wonderful day. You know, Natalia, thank you so much for joining us on set this morning, and whatever you do, be safe. Be safe. Have a wonderful day today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the morning where we celebrate with those who are celebrating. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. And of course, as you are aware, we here at Tobago Updates Television, we make it our duty to celebrate with those who are celebrating. So this morning, we want to say a happy, happy birthday to this fine gentleman who is on your screen this morning, Mr. Desi London. He is celebrating a birthday today, and we say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday today.
We continue this birthday shout-outs, and we say happy birthday to Miss Nicole Smith. Happy birthday to you, Miss Smith. Yes, today is your special day. Today is the day that you commemorate coming on this earth to fulfill God's purpose in your life. We wish you God's richest blessings, and we hope that you take some time off to reflect on all that He has done for you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday goes out to Marisha Gibbs. Marisha Gibbs is also celebrating a birthday today, and we say happy birthday to you. We do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we hope that you have a wonderful, amazing birthday today.
And we say happy birthday to a very special gentleman, Mr. Ryan McCool. Happy belated birthday to you, sir. This guy's a very troublesome person. This is my classmate from high school.
Pick your words correctly.
This
pick
guy
them wisely.
is very troublesome, but he's a very loving, very, kind-hearted person.
Well-known person.
Well-known as well, very well-known
talented.
in the media space. Very talented. Yes. We have all the superlatives for you, Mr. McCool. And we're wishing you happy birthday and God's richest blessings. I know you would have enjoyed it to the max. And we pray that for the next upcoming year, that God paves the way for you.
That's right. Happy birthday to you as well. We say happy birthday to Ansel Ned, who's known as Coach Ned. He's celebrating a birthday today, and we say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life as you continue to mold the minds of young people, as you teach them and train them and coach them in the sport of cricket. Ansel is the coach for Signal Hill Government Primary School, and I think they had a clean sweep with the last tournament they participated in. So congratulations to you there. And of course, happy birthday to you. Continue to walk in purpose and fulfill destiny.
And we finally say happy birthday to Ms. Vindra Gopal, our member of the media fraternity here in Tobago. Happy birthday to you, Ms. Gopal. Belated, that is, happy belated birthday. And we wish that you celebrated your birthday in all pomp and flair, yes. And God's richest blessings upon your life.
All right. And of course, even though we don't have your photographs, if you are celebrating a birthday or you're celebrating an anniversary, a promotion, you've migrated, whatever you are celebrating this morning, we here at Tobago Updates Television, we join in the celebration with you. But we remind you to put God first, because he is the sole reason why there's even anything for you to celebrate. So it's Monday morning. Akinlabi, who are we speaking with this morning? What is our conversation looking like here on the morning show today?
Well, our conversation is looking at all things SOE, all things security in Tobago. So first up, we're going to have Mr. Collis Hazel, who's the Assistant Commissioner of the TTPS. He's coming to give us the TTPS updates, as well as the SRPs that are going to be absorbed into the TTPS. And then further on, we're going to extend that conversation with him, and we're going to discuss about Trinidad and Tobago's second SOE for 2025. After that, we're going to have on Mr. Reginald McLean, who is the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, and they're going to be talking about Tobago remaining open and welcoming tourists despite the SOE.
Very, very important conversations. And of course, we do hope that all our viewers far and wide can stay tuned to us as we go through the conversations. Remember, you can also be a part of the conversation by leaving your comments on our Facebook live stream and our YouTube channel. We want to hear from you. We want to know your thoughts. We want to know your questions, your suggestions. What do you think? What do you feel? Where you are? In fact, let us know where you are viewing from this morning, whether it's right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, Canada, England, Asia, Australia, Europe, Africa, wherever you are this morning. We want to hear from you. And this is your opportunity to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Do more, live more.
Hello, New York. Are you ready to celebrate the essence of Crusoe land and the culture of Tobago? Well, get ready for Tobago Day in New York City, hosted by the Tobago Empowerment and Alliance Mission, Sunday, August 17, 2025, Nazareth High School Courtyard, 475 East 57th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 12 noon to 8 p.m. We bring the Tobago vibes to the Big Apple. Live music, Tobago food, cultural performances, and family fun. So bring Tanty, Granny, the uncle, invite the whole neighborhood. Just bring everybody and bring your significant other too. Come celebrate Tobago Day in New York City, Sunday, August 17th, Nazareth High School Courtyard. But I forget to tell all you, it's we 10th anniversary celebration. For more information, call 929-327-7857 or check Team's Facebook and Instagram pages, Team Tobago Day.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Courts is well known as the Caribbean's largest retailer, providing consumers for generations with the very best products to enhance their homes. This year, we bring our expertise to businesses. Courts Business Solutions will serve small, medium, and large companies with the very best products at the most competitive prices, backed by warranties and after-sales support. Hoteliers, office managers, restaurants, and so many more. Courts Business Solutions, a brand of the Unicomer Group.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49SWIFT 4979438.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
yeah. With a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
My name is Tina Macmillan, your last year's third place winner and Miss Photogenic for last year's Miss Heritage Personality Show. And this year, I want to carry you with me for my Tobago Heritage experience. I'll be hosting With Tobago Updates, bringing you live coverage behind the scenes and also their giveaways, tickets to the heritage events, and a 2-night stay to the Manzolina Grand. So you need to stay locked on to Tobago Updates on all their social media platforms, Kina Macmillan on Facebook and originalmedusa.tt on TikTok. My Tobago Heritage Experience with Tobago Updates. Stay tuned.
Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and roll back, come let me reel. I make a brush back, brush back. Do something and do something.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you so much for staying with us. We begin conversations this morning by speaking with Mr. Collis Hazel, who is the Assistant Commissioner of TTPS, but this morning he's wearing the cap of coordinator as we speak about the Belmanna riots. As you are aware, we are in heritage mode, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what is happening on the island. Mr. Hazel, good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, and it is always a delightful moment to be in your company.
Right. Wow, that is, high accolades there, and I accept that very much. And we, of course, also like speaking with you, especially when we're talking about Belmanna riots. Late last week we were talking about all things heritage and the events happening, and I was telling my colleagues that I can't wait to go to Roxborough because I wanted to go last year. And so we're here again to talk about what's happening this year for the Belmanna riots, and I know that is something near and dear to your heart. So let's go through a little bit of the history so that our viewers can understand what we're talking about and why we're so excited about the Belmanna riots.
Okay, so Tobago Belmanna riot is an event that will be not stage, but a street theater event that is going to take place on the heritage calendar on the 28th of July, starting from 10 a.m. in the morning at Roxborough. Of course, the Belmanna riot, as you are well aware, started as a stage production for some years now in the Roxborough area. However, because of the setting of the whole, the production and the actual production being held in Roxborough, it was always felt that, the production of Belmanna should be held in its natural format, and the best way to do that was with a street theater. So I must give some commendation to Mr. Gilbert O'Connor, whose vision it was to ensure that we put the Belmanna on the streets of Roxborough in a street theater format. And of course, having said that, the people of Roxborough welcome the idea and work feverishly towards ensuring that we put on the Belmanna Festival. This year, the Belmanna is going to be coordinated by and directed by Miss Deanna Riley, who for all the years have been continuously doing this production. And of course, she has the support under the leadership of the Roxborough Police Youth Club, who is producing the show with the Tobago Heritage Festival Commission to ensure that we have a beautiful and fulfilled street theater production in Roxborough. What I should say for those persons who aren't aware of the Belmanna riot reenactment, the fact that somewhere in May 1st of 1876, the Roxborough was one of the places in which he had one of the largest sugar estate plantation back then. And of course, history was created when on that estate, when rioters broke out on the sugar plantation. These laborers rioted over the treatment that was meted out to them by the plantation owners. And after emancipation, there was a shortage of labor on the estate. So those persons who were freed from Africa were brought predominantly from Barbados to work on the sugar plantation, to replenish the labor on the estate. Of course, when they came, what led to them coming was the offer. So they were offered proper medical care, better working conditions, and however, that did not happen. And of course, like anyone else, they were not satisfied. They were not satisfied too as a result of the treatment that was meted out to them. There was a system that was called the truck system. The truck system really was one in which they were working for their wages, and despite all of that, whatever they worked for, it was still the control of the white plantation owners who, by way of this truck system, just like a tax, that were responsible for them in terms of they still had to go to purchase everything from the same white plantation owners. So it mimics the idea of the canteen that we operate within even the TTPS and all those other military agencies, where they have the canteen and you go and you purchase from the canteen, but really the canteen is owned by so the truck system is what it was called then. And of course, that did not work well with them, and that agitated the whole idea of revolting against those actions of the white plantation owners. Much so to the displeasure of the workers, which was led by Mary Jane, better known as Tipigi. And Tipigi was the leader of that rioting group out there, who, while on the plantation working, would have encouraged the workers in order to riot. And one of the first things that was done was that they were able to burn down the sugar estate, on the estate, the sugar house on the estate. And of course, within that, in terms of the production, you have the situation where, like anything else, you know that they would have been mimicking the white plantation owners. So they learn the jig and sing songs and whatnot and the other in their own language. And all of this is what is going to come out in the production at Roxborough, in terms of the jig, in terms of stick fighting, in terms of all these sort of acts that will take place, the tambu bamboo and stuff like that, which was used in terms of their music in order for to riot, continue their protests. as the riot, what was taking place on the estate. This led to the whole idea of the arrest of Mary Jane Tipigi, who, of course, was the leader of the riot on the plantation, and she was arrested by one Corporal Belmanna. Corporal Belmanna, too, was a bad Bajan police officer who was stationed at the Roxborough police station. The very station where it was located, everything on the hill, that Bajan Belmanna was stationed there. And we will be going back to that very former police station where all that action took place. And of course, the rioters, in agitating against arresting Mary Jane, they went to the station and riot and was able to pull out Belmanna out of the station. And in that way, in order to created their level of frustration, because clearly he was carrying out the wishes of the white plantation owners, and of course blaming them for burning down the sugar estate. So from there, they are going to move on to the court, the same Roxborough Magistrate Court, where the case will be tried against the state versus the people of the rioters of Roxborough, against Belmanna, who, while the issues were going on, he shot Tipigi. And of course, the revolters got more agitated in terms of what is taking place, and there's going to be a real courthouse scene in the courtyard of Roxborough to reenact that whole situation. It does not end there. At the end, there was some victory, which the judge felt comforted by the evidence that was given in the matter to the Roxborough rioters, and there was a jubilation. So the jubilation took us back onto the plantation in order to celebrate. So from the Great House, we will be going back on the estate in a jubilation mood, and of course later that evening it will climax with a concert of community groups coming together in jubilation. It is going to be one of rhythm, steel, and songs on the estate in celebration that we'd have captured Belmanna. And I must say to you that in the morning, before that happens, what we will be doing, for the first time, everyone will get an opportunity to now see the Belmanna, the grave site of where on the estate we have gone there and clean up the area, and we are now going to be laying a tombstone in memory of all those persons who fought in the riot of Belmanna. So we would be laying a tombstone on that site on the estate.
You know, Mr. Hazel, I was listening to the whole rollout of the production there, and I'm wondering what is the feedback in terms of persons participating? Because this is a big production. You're talking about moving through the community of Roxborough. You spoke about so many different sites and areas where you will be hosting parts of the event. In terms of the buy-in, and what is important for me is the fact that young people are also a part of it, because remember, this is a story that we have to keep telling for generations to come. We don't want it to die with the people who already know. We want this story to continue. So what is the buy-in? What is the integration of the younger younger persons as in part of the production, and not just a part of the production as in I have my part and these are my lines, but actually knowing the story intimately, so that they can, depict it better on during their performances.
And here I have to give credit to Miss Deanna Riley, because she took time with her cast, first of all, as a former teacher, in explaining. She just didn't run into the production. It happened already, but there are new members of cast, and she took time in order to educate all her cast members on the story of Belmanna. So they have a living sense of what it is they are reenacting, and they were well educated about the production so that they know what is to take place. And as you rightly said, it's not just to jump in the production and learn my lines and come there and say the lines. And this is why the street theater action of it is where we're going to start, and we go to the different treks in places so people will get a greater understanding, and the cast members will be able to reenact all those things at various points with a knowledge that they know too what has happened in the production, and that they have a full understanding. I must say that there's a great stage of development in terms of, we have the youngest member of cast when we're about 8, 7, go right up to persons within the 60s that are participating within the cast. So that generation gap, there is continuity, there's enthusiasm and excitement that people come out wanting to play, to participate. And of course, the village, each all have its part. Roxborough is known for that cultural expression whereby we don't create a second tongue, as we'd always call it, in nothing that we do. So the Roxborough Gems Choir, led by Mr. Of course, the representative for the area, Tobago East, Mr. Thomas, they are going to be doing all the songs with their choir, and they have their aspect in bringing the production. We have the Roxborough Police Youth Club Dance Company. They are going to be doing all the dances and everything that deals with that, and of course their steel orchestra. They are going to participate in giving you that aspect. We have members from the community of the group of Roxborough Mise. They will be supporting the cast in terms of, being out there, spectators, rioters, and so forth. We have the Roxborough Tambu Bamboo. They will be coming out in order to lead and carry through, so that it is Roxborough, and it's a combined grouping of all and sundry different churches, different groups, everybody coming out in order to put this production together.
Mr. Hazel, I know that the Belmanna riots was off the calendar for quite some time. I don't know if you were involved with it last year, but can you just speak to why Roxborough decided to come back to the calendar last year? Because you came back with a bang last year.
Well, I think I give credit to the whole idea of all the years we were absent. It had to do with the whole question of us looking whether this thing really ought to be a stage production or a street theater. And as I said before, I give credit to Mr. Gilbert O'Connor, who always, he would say to me, Collis, I am seeing this thing on the street and we have to go. And, I was much appreciated when, he came up with different aspects, and he and Miss Riley, they put this thing together and put it outside there, and I can see with all assurance, like the rest of Tobago and other persons from Trinidad, the excitement. A lot of people come into Tobago. This Belmanna is going to be huge, and there's going to be a lot coming forth, and of course we are excited, and we are doing everything in order to ensure that that taste of Roxborough is on the street in Belmanna.
I want to ask you overall in terms of the Tobago Heritage Festival, and you see the pride that you have with your Roxborough, and each community has that level of pride. Do you think that the Tobago Heritage Festival, and you just mentioned people coming from Trinidad, people coming from far and wide to see what we are doing here on the island of Tobago in terms of preserving our heritage, do you think that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing? I know there's always room for improvement, but do you think we are putting enough in terms of investing the finances, the resources, the time, ensuring that the younger generation is educated, not just for one aspect of the heritage, but the overall heritage festival? Do you think enough is being done at this stage for us to continue preserving what we call our heritage?
I want to say we are in the right path. When I attended the folk fiesta, and I can honestly see from what I saw in folk fiesta, we are in a good place. The young and upcoming generation that came out and participated. You look at opening night, you look at the cast, you look at the participation of the people that were involved in those productions. And I think that we are in the right place in terms of ensuring that our culture is alive and well. Even as it relates to Belmanna and the involvement of the young ones in participating in getting the props ready, getting in line and so forth. I think that we are all for it. People want to be a part of it. People want to be able to experience it. So it is not just a jump and party and whatnot on the other. People clearly understand, and we can see growth and development taking place thereafter when we would have moved off the scene, that there's continuity in people, because this is being coordinated by, assisted and directed by very young Alia Brooks. Her father came from Curlin Brooks as her grandfather. And of course, so you're seeing continuity where at the end of the day, there are people who understand what we are going to be doing and is outside there doing it very easily, so that I feel that we are in a good place. In terms of the other villages, I can speak for using the folk fiesta as a good place to start. Roxborough Police Youth Club has been participating in folk fiesta. We are there producing our own show. We are producing the Belmanna. And of course, look out, we are there with the, we have put out a contestant in the Miss Personality competition. So you can say that there is that community participation coming out, and that is what you want, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tobago, Trinidad, wherever you are from, if you are on the island of Tobago, the Tobago Heritage Festival is on with a bang, and Belmanna Riot is taking place on the 28th, and you want to be there. First and foremost, you want to be up front, you want to be on the whole trek, the whole trail, everything that they are doing, you want to be a part of it. Mr. Hazel, just give us the details in terms of the time we're starting. I know you said that there is a viewing of the graveside. So tell us the time we're starting, the route, and how we're looking to culminate.
Okay, so we start from Cameron Canal Road. That's the road to the waterfall. And we are going to be starting there in terms of doing the trek to the different places. So we go first to the graveside, where we will lay the commemorative plaque in honor of all those persons who would have participated in the production, in the riot, and commemorate them. We move from there and we will go to what is called 100 Windows. Standing majestically historically on the site, on the Roxborough estate, is the plantation owner of the estate house. It is called 100 Windows. The house, in terms of its engineering and structure, is still intact. And we are going to be going to visit that site so that people get an idea. Long ago, you didn't have you could not have gone there. That is the plantation great house. And who dare you to go on to reach to the site of the white plantation owner's house. This is an opportunity now where we have that opportunity where you could go and see 100 windows. We call it, as young boys growing up in Roxborough, 100 windows, because it has a lot of windows on the house. So we'll visit there. Then we'll go down and look at the Copra House. The Copra House is the house in which the product of the cocoa and coffee and sugarcane and fermentation of the cocoa was done. That building was refurbished and, ensuring that some of the architectural designs are still in place. It is there, and in that Copra House, for the first time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, because the police is very much involved in is a policing issue with the production of Belmanna. So the police service will be bringing his full museum, and they will be in that space. So they will be putting their museum in there so that you will get an idea of the relics of what happened in the old police station at Roxborough. Now, in that museum, I am there to say there is a diary, a station diary, that was saved from Roxborough Police Station. And I saw entries in that diary that is intact. In those days, there weren't any crime of such. So you would have seen offenses where somebody was arrested for a bicycle offense. You know, a long time, you old young people may not know, but we had bicycles, and there was someone a bicycle was impounded. I saw entries where the owner, the Inland Revenue, those days had messengers, and basically the station was utilized in order just to store keys for government property. So you would see entries where the messenger came at so-and-so time to collect the keys for Inland Revenue, and where they went back in order to bring back the keys and stuff like that. Those was mostly of some of the entries that you would see in that old station diary, but it be a lot of relevance to us. As well as we move off from there, and we are going to take you now to what is called the Chuck House. The Chuck House is the refurbished area on the estate that once used to be used for the preservatives of fruits and the industrial cottage, as you would have called it. So the Chuck House is going to use just what it is being intended for. All the sales of the product on that day would be sold there. So you can come to the Chuck House and, of course, relish the cuisines of Creole food that was taking place at time then. So we will be cooking, we will be baking, we'll be having all the foods and eats and drinks at the Chuck House. But I want to warn all you, this is where you will have a taste of no long sauce.
All right.
Okay.
No long sauce.
All right.
Roxborough we talking about. So we coming out, and we will be ensuring well attired in order to give you the cuisine. Roxborough is famous for food. So come out. Heritage cannot operate without our culinary delights. You can't have that there for the entire day in the truck stop. And then
Hazel, you know, I feel as if I'm already in Roxborough with all of this whole, description and all the things that are going to be taking place in Roxborough. And I wish we could have stayed whole morning to talk about this. As I said, since last year I wanted to come and I was unable to, and I'm hoping that this year we could carry our crew up the road to Roxborough come the 28th. Come one, come all, and be a part of what is happening on the island of Tobago. If you're not aware of what the Belmanna riot is, now is your time to do your research. And if you don't have time to do the research, come on up to the East on the 28th of July from 10 a.m. In fact, I could come earlier because you don't want to miss a beat and be a part of what is taking place up there with the Roxborough Belmanna riots. Mr. Hazel, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning and giving us all that, juicy details as to what we can expect when we get there. And we do hope to see you come the 28th of July.
Thank you very much, and I must say it before I go, I want to really expressively thank the business community because they are really playing a tremendous role in supporting us in everything we do. We talk about the Marconi's Home Depot, Waterhole Bar, Windward Meat Shop, Hercules General Surprise, Coors, Tops Eco Mart, Must Be Molly, Archie Mini Grocery, Sweet Haven. All these are people from the community who set up their own business and is providing some level of support to the production and to ensure that we stay alive in terms of that. Of course, thanks to the Tobago Festivals Commission, and I must not forget the members from the Division of Infrastructure and Quarries who are helping us in doing everything on the URP program. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll have to take a short break, and when we come back, we will talk to Mr. Reginald of the THTA concerning Tobago being open for SOE. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
With Flow Business's new smart solutions, powered by super fast, reliable broadband, you'll feel like there are more versions of you working for you. From website design, development, and digital marketing to promote your business, 24/7 business class support to cloud solutions, security, and more. Multiply your growth today.
Goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show, and we have on the line with us Mr. Reginald McLean, who is the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, and he's here to talk to us about Tobago remaining open and welcoming tourists despite the SOE. Good morning and welcome, Mr. McLean.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show this morning.
Okay, so Mr. McLean, let's get straight into this conversation. The SOE, we know persons have a certain picture in the head when it comes to the SOE, but you want to tell persons that Tobago is still open, still welcome, and tourists are free to move about?
That's correct. Yesterday we had a security council meeting, which was very well attended, and we discussed a lot of things on security, obviously, something I can say on the show. But we have put out a notice that the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association wishes to assure all local and international visits that despite the recent declaration of a state of emergency by the government, that the island of Tobago remains open, safe, and fully operational for tourism. And not just international tourism, but domestic as well. There are currently no restrictions on the movement of persons, nor are there any limitations on tourism-related activities across the destination. All hotels, resorts, restaurants, attractions, and transportation services continue to function as normal. When you look at this SOE that we just got, this measure was really put in as a proactive step by the government to ensure national safety and security, and not to disrupt the daily lives of those good-faring persons, of which 99.99% of our country are. So there's a lot to do. It's unfortunate that it's happened, but we have to get the authorities have to get things under control so that TNT can move forward positively.
Mr. McLean, since the declaration of the SOE, has the THTA received skepticism from persons concerning bookings, whether it be from Trinidad or internationally? Have it affected bookings? Has persons who were interested in coming to the island expressed some sort of skepticism about coming since the SOE has been declared?
We, unlike the last one on December 30th, we haven't started seeing anything as yet. But remember, this happened on a Friday. We've just gone through the weekend, so all the international agents, etc., are now back in the office this morning dealing with things. So we haven't seen anything as yet. But we've taken steps as this happened to start assuring people that Tobago will actually be safer, because now the authorities have a few more things that in their arsenal to fight crime. So at the end of the day, Tobago is going to be safer now than it was prior to Friday. And after the meeting we had yesterday with all the armed services, I can assure you that Tobago is going to be on the ball and ensure that safety is a priority.
Mr. McLean, outside of putting out the press release, encouraging visitors to still come to the island of Tobago because of your assurance of safety and security, what else is the THTA doing to ensure our visitors, whether domestic visitors or international visitors, to come to the island of Tobago during this period?
Well, as I said just now, we had a security meeting yesterday. And that is one of the key avenues for us, is working with all of our armed services, from the police through our army, through the Coast Guard and everything. What I can tell you, coming out of discussions held yesterday, is that we are upping the manpower in Tobago. We are upping the availability of vehicles. We are fixing some small issues that we have with the Coast Guard, for example. And we are looking right now at bringing back the police marine unit to help with all our beaches and all ports of entry and entry areas where people can come in. So it's positive things that will work positive for Tobago, not just in the short term, but these are things that we will keep going in Tobago to ensure that Tobago remains safe. We want Tobago to remain safe. A warning was put out yesterday by the senior superintendent of Tobago that don't think that the Trinidad criminals are going to come to Tobago and get away with things, because they are looking for them here. So do the best thing and not come. So Tobago is going to remain safe. We have a few other things that are in the works, so things will happen positively for Tobago.
So you're quite confident that you are in a good place in terms of, from the standpoint of the THTA, you're in a good place to ensure that we can welcome our visitors and ensure that they feel safe and that they are engaged in the different activities that we have here on the island of Tobago.
I would tell you that we are safe. We will be safer. And moving forward here, I'm very confident in the authorities especially after that yesterday's meeting, that we will be even safer. Just to let you know, this week, 2 things are going to be rolled out. We're doing a Tobago-specific hotline, not just like the one that we use for the country of Trinidad and Tobago. And this is 639-HELP. That is 639-HELP. And that is Tobago-specific. It's not ready as yet. The police are going to let us know a little later this week, between the police and the Tobago House of Assembly, exactly what day that's going to be coming out. And then with the Tobago House of Assembly as well, we are doing a Safe Tobago app. It's called Safe Tobago. And that app right now has been developed. It's currently being tested, and the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association is doing part of the testing as well. So this week, look out for those 2. And, you know, it's things for anonymous reporting. It's things where if there's an issue, you can get your information out right away to those who will be able to help. And I'll also let you know that I've been given the assurance by the Chief Secretary that the 639-HELP that is going to be rolled out this week is going to be monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that is very positive in itself. So let's see how it all goes, and let's make Tobago continue to be safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we echo your sentiments, and we do hope that Tobago continues to remain a safe space. And in fact, we join with you to welcome one and all to come enjoy our beautiful natural resources, activities, and people, food, cuisine, everything here on the island of Tobago. Thank you so much, Mr. Reginald, for joining us this morning.
Not yet. I'm not going to let you off that easy. You know that we have the whole this whole month of events. Today is actually in Charlotteville, so I'm hoping a lot of people are going to show up to that. And you know, when I discuss things like this, we look at what's happening today in Charlotteville, and I know there's going to be a very big police presence there. So that in itself is going to have to work to keep Tobago safe. But we want to assure everybody that Tobago remains safe, and even more so with the SOE, that persons can move around freely and continue to enjoy themselves as they're accustomed to, including our nationals of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as our international guests. So bottom line is Tobago is safe. Everything is exactly how it was. The only change is that the police have a little bit more authority now to do what they have to do to get this crime situation that is boggling Trinidad down under control. Thank you very much.
Of course, an absolute pleasure. And we look forward to great things happening on the island of Tobago, especially where our safety and security are concerned. Do have a wonderful day, and we will keep in touch with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of our correspondents in the East. As you are aware, all roads head to the East today. It's Natural Treasures Day there in Charlotteville, and we have Mr. Andre Baker on location this morning, and he is going to be giving us a little update as to what is happening in Charlotteville this morning. Mr. Baker, are you there? Good morning, and let us know, tell us what Charlotteville is looking like and what it is sounding like this morning. All right, we're being told that it is raining heavily, and so we are unable to make that connection this morning. But don't let the rain stop you. Don't let the rain stop you. If you've already made your plans to go up to Charlotteville this morning, make sure you get there. I'm telling you, it's an experience you want to have. Akinlabi, have you been to Natural Treasures Day in Charlotteville?
Yeah, I've been there a number of times, and even though the rain falling now, the sun is going to come out, and it's going to be an experience. You're going to absolutely love it. One of the things that I like about Tobago Heritage Festival, there are a number of events that are very immersive in the experience. So you have the Charlotteville, you have the Mariah, you have the Black Rock, and now we have added to the calendar again, you have Belmanna, and these very immersive experiences, they hit different. I'm not saying that the stage shows are bad, but those immersive experiences, you get to really be a part
That's right.
of the heritage, you know, and for me, it's a much more powerful experience than sitting down and looking at a stage production.
I absolutely agree with you. The actual engagement is as if you're a part of the production itself.
Yes.
And so, you know, people, you want to come out, you want to see firsthand. Have you ever danced the cocoa? You want to dance the cocoa. You want to see how they squeeze the cane juice out of the cane. You want to see how the dirt oven works to get your bread in and out. How the temperature of the last year, in fact, I learned about the temperature of the wood or the type of wood you have to use for the dirt oven. So come on up to Charlotteville this morning as we get that going. I'm being told that we have Andre. We have Andre now on the line, and Andre can tell us what is happening there in Charlotteville this morning.
Adana Akinabi, we had some brief showers of blessing. It's beautiful right here in Charlotteville. I wish you guys were here with me right now. It's amazing up here. I hope everyone is ready for Heritage National Treasures Day. They are still setting the moment for an extremely great day today. So guys, follow me as we explore. We're here in beautiful Charlotteville. You know how I do it. I'm in my African wear and I'm ready for the whole experience. Adana, I wish you were here with us today. But follow me, we're going to be having a little conversation with one of the members from the Charlotteville Heritage Performers. We have the Vice President of the Charlotteville Performers here. She's doing actually, you see what's going on here? Persons are getting their breakfast this morning right here in Charlotteville. So, we're going to have a conversation with Miss Dylan Jack. Miss Dylan Jack, good morning.
Good morning.
As we're here in Charlotteville, tell us a little bit about what person should expect when they come here for the heritage experience.
Well, first I must say fun, 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 whole day. Fun all the way. This activity is called Natural Treasures Day. We start with a trek. We start from Fort Campbellton all the way down into the village. And we make different stops. The first stop is at the first stop.
So the first stop is at the first stop. All right.
And there you will get your little goodies. Tart, cone, sweet bread, you name it. And we have it there for you. Right? And after that little refreshment, you move on to the washing of the dead bed, right? We are going to show you how it used to happen long ago.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. Long ago, when someone in the house died, they will take all the bed and they will go to the river and they will wash it, right? And there they will have little conversation, right? In and around the river. So expect that. It will be great fun.
Wow. Fun. Guys, I'm looking forward. Just hearing Miss Dylan Jack explain what's happening right here for National Treasure Day.
You can't miss this.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit about what's going on here. I see the breakfast.
This morning we have our breakfast sale, and we know that people normally get into the village very early. So we have something for them to munch on before they actually start the trek.
Well, guys, you heard it. Watch me.
We also, besides that, we also have the dancing of the cocoa. Yes, we have
I always wanted to do that dancing.
And I hope you get there in time so that you will be able to dance the cocoa.
Definitely.
Right.
So it ends off with the dancing of cocoa.
No, we have the coal spit where you would have that experience of seeing how it was done long ago, where the burning of the coal. That coal was the most popular thing used to fuel, to cook with. So you will see that, and then you will also have an opportunity to view baking of bread in the dirt oven. Quite excited, and there you will also get samples of our bread and our sweet bread.
Yeah, definitely looking forward for that.
So I hope that you have that experience, and the sawing of the wood. Long ago, people never used to have, the luxury of buying cement and all those things to build houses. They used to have to saw wood, cut trees in the forest, bring it to the saw pit and saw. So that's how it used to be long ago. right? And also, right on that spot, you will see the squeezing of the cane on the batting mill.
That
quite
is
a lot. I hope
and,
that we get through these activities today so that all the people coming to Charlotteville will have fun. We want everybody, and I'm urging you all to get up here quickly because it's pulling up. You might not have space. You might have to turn back. So get here quickly.
Definitely. Guys, well, you heard Miss Dylan Jack. I love the passion in your voice. I see that this is something that
I'm very passionate about my heritage.
I can see that.
Yes.
So guys, you heard it. She said you make sure and come up very early to have the ultimate experience right here in Charlotteville. I'm going to have my breakfast right here at Dana Akinalvi. I wish you all could have experienced what I'm experiencing right now, but you all can still come up the road. It's going to be starting soon. Everything is almost prepared. And guess what? We got the showers of blessing to start off the morning. So all of you coming up, it's all about National Treasures Day in Charlotteville, Tobago Heritage. We hear it's all about Tobago updates. Get up here early.
But
don't
Andre,
miss out according to yes,
Andre,
Adana.
I find you busy. I find you busy to go to that breakfast table, you know. I know. Once they're preparing meals in Charlotteville, we're talking about Coke, chocolate tea, we're talking about coconut bake, and all of these delectables up there under that tent. And I'm sure that's where you're rushing off to go this morning. But before you get that breakfast.
Exactly.
Before you get that breakfast, tell me, what is the thing that you're looking forward to the most with Charlotteville today?
Actually, I'm seeing the batting mill in, the experience of doing that sugar cane. I've seen it on television before. I've never experienced it, and especially dancing the cocoa. Adana is something I've never done. It's something I have to do this year. I love how the rain, it's really calm, and the weather is excellent now, guys. We had our showers of blessing, so you need to be up here. It's all about National Treasures Day. And yes, all the time I was talking to Miss Dylan Jack, my eyes was going down to the breakfast, buljol, coffee. It's all about the bake. I'm not in Charlotteville every day, so I have to make sure that my Charlotteville experience is amazing. So guys,
Andre, make sure and eat for the both of us. Andre,
I definitely will.
Both of us. Yes.
I definitely will.
Well, thank you very much. Hurry up and get to the tent, because our line looking very long.
Save a plate for us. We'll join you
running
soon.
Out, breakfast running out.
We'll join
no
you
problem,
soon.
Guys.
So you have a wonderful one,
no
Andre,
problem. See you
later
up here.
on.
Okay.
All right, viewers, thank you so much. I mean, we are excited to head to Charlotteville today. Are you excited? Are you going? Leave in the comments. Are you going to Charlotteville this morning? And what other heritage events are you taking in this heritage season? We're so happy that you stayed with us throughout the entire programming this morning. And we will continue bringing you updates as to things happening there in Charlotteville today. So do have a wonderful, wonderful day. And remember, if you can't be good, at least be safe. Peace out. That's all for the morning show here on Tobago Updates Television. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
My name is Giselle Gittins-Peters, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Tobago Regional Health Authority's Internship Program. I am extremely pleased to bring warm greetings and officially welcome you to our year 2025. As part of its corporate social responsibility, the Tobago Regional Health Authority, under the auspices of our Secretary of Health and our Board of Directors, would have taken a decision in 2023 to host our first internship program. This is our third year. You are our third year. You are part of this hat-trick experience that we are calling Internship 2025. Did I mention that we are happy to have you? Yes. Yes, we are.
It is truly an honor to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the Tobago Regional Health Authority's third edition of its internship program for 2025. To our interns, congratulations. Today you take the first step not only into the world of work, but also into your own leadership journey. This year's theme, Empowering Our Youth to be Future Leaders, speaks directly to your presence here. You are not just trainees. You are tomorrow's innovators, tomorrow's decision makers, and its change agents.
The theme of this year's internship, Empowering Our Youth to Become Future Leaders, is a true reflection of our commitment at the authority to avenues for our youth to be exposed to the dynamic field that is healthcare. We believe that it is our responsibility to broaden public understanding of what healthcare truly entails.
No one is here to hand you an opportunity. Whether you like it or not, life is a competition. You are competing amongst the best of the best to excel in this life. No one's here to feel sorry for you. I'm gonna be point blank with you. You need to excel and go above and beyond for what you want in
life. Me to do a job because that's all I was doing. I had to be honest. It gave me real experience. I was extremely naive as to how the real world was coming out of sixth form. I only did sixth form to honestly get away from the real world. I'll always people that in the internship, I the memories I made.
Being here this evening, we welcome you to this TRHA internship program. Yes, it is something that started a couple.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning.
By talking about all that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago with the state of emergency that was announced last week. This morning I have the privilege of chatting online with former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning to you and to your many viewers. Always my pleasure.
Good morning. Now, it's always a pleasure to sit with you and, get a bit of your expertise on the topic. This morning, we are chatting to you in your capacity as former Commissioner of Police. And recently, you came out stating that, you saw not necessarily a breach of protocol, but a failure to acknowledge the protocols where the announcement of a state of emergency is concerned. And, you know, it raised a high level of concern as it pertains to the leadership and the management of the TTPS. For those who have not heard, you know, some of your commentary or your comments on the topic, you know, give us an overview of where you sit as it pertains to the announcement of this recent SOE.
Sure. So to summarize as quickly as possible, unfortunately, arguably half the country will support it and half will not support it based on their which side of the political fence you're on. I wish and plead to the country, as citizens of this great country, stop just making decisions based on what you feel your political leaders would prefer. Look at it from a logical perspective. My personal views, as I said, I continue to say, is I do not see a state of emergency as being used as a crime-fighting tool. You can water it down, you can diminish it too much. And all of the things that are taking place right now could have been achieved by the police. This is what I did. There were 3 or 4 occasions when there was an escalation in the threat assessments, and we did everything that was required without a proclamation from the president. Everything that the police are boasting about being done. Why do you need the government and the president to automatically tell you, hey, it's a state of emergency, to wake up now, get out of your slumber and do your job? No. You maximize the force, you increase operations, you increase high visibility, you increase different systems for tactics appreciation, intelligence gathering, we're bringing in the defense force. That all of these things could be done without the state of emergency. That is my personal view. If it is that the prime minister, her style is different to mine. She's one that shoots from the hip immediately. She sees the SOE as probably as an avenue to minimize the problem that is taking place, and good for her. What we need to do now is all support the SOE, and instead of us criticizing it, it has already been decided, and we go with it and provide the support for the police. What is unacceptable is the process by how it was conducted, and not by the government, but by the Commissioner of Police. One, he decided to send a recommendation he made a media release recommending an SOE to the government without the government approving it. He's fastened out of place in local parlance. You can't do a media release to recommend a SOE and the government didn't even get to approve it. Suppose the government said no, and then you put everybody in confusion. So you make a recommendation because you feel you can't control the security of the country, and the government said no. So he had no right to have done a media release making a recommendation before the government approved. Two, he then went and had a press conference before the government. A SOE is not a police thing. It is something that is nationwide. In all SOEs you would have seen, it's either the Prime Minister, the Attorney General, the Minister of National Security will chair the media conference with the support of the Commissioner of Police and whoever. Three, he decided to, and he boasted about it, that he took the information and went straight to the Prime Minister and bypassed his own line minister, that being the Minister of Homeland Security. And four, the most damning of all, you decided as a Commissioner of Police to lay out information that was so sensitive. You didn't have to go into detail. All that is required as a commissioner, there's a clear and present danger of certain matters of national security concerns that we believe an SOE is recommended to ensure the safety and security of citizens in this country. Full stop. You need to go into the details of prisoners having access to phones and prisoners wanting to put hits on public officials and police officers. All that you have done is you have put undue panic throughout the country. You've affected trade, investment, tourism, revenue into the economy. Who will want to come to Trinidad and Tobago based on a commissioner saying that it was not required? And then what makes it worse, yesterday, when people are asking these questions, he has the bold-faced audacity to tell the public, to tell opposition members, to tell activists, to tell people on social media, to tell civilians, you are a civilian, you were never trained as a police officer, you're fastened out of place to ask me anything. That is the height of arrogance. Now, if it is that persons criticize you, they condemn you, they smear your name, they tarnish your character, it is your right to defend it with facts, with data to justify, which is what I did as Commissioner of Police. If persons said, you're only arresting certain persons, and I'll say that is a lie. Look at the number of people we arrested at Residence Nightclub or whatever. If people say, why are you questioning the Prime Minister's decision, why you didn't arrest people in Bayside, I'll say because we couldn't arrest persons because it was a public health regulation, so we couldn't arrest people in their private property. You have to explain and justify the reason for your action. But as a Commissioner of Police, for you to make a statement, none of you all ever arrested anyone, none of you all were ever in court, so you all fasten out a place to challenge me and question what I do. That is the level of what we have now as a commissioner of police. And it goes right back to my concern when commissioners are now being selected by civilians who are in the police service commission, who are not trained, qualified in any form of fashion in law enforcement. And it just takes one person in the police service commission to like somebody, and all of a sudden that person becomes commissioner. He needs to check himself and realize that you are going to be attacked on a regular basis, but your defense must be to give data and justification for your action, not telling people, well, you was never a police, so shut up and let me do my job.
Understood. And I'm glad that you brought up the issue of the details being made public, right? Do you think there's a way in which the TTPS could have handled those public or those threats to public officers without it being publicized based on the economic impact that now has?
Yeah, definitely. All that was required in a state of emergency, a part of the element of surprise. You don't allow the enemy to know exactly what they're getting. They know what you know. They know that also. So you know that we are in prison and we are trying to get information out and whatever. And you've made it known now to the enemy. But apart from that, there's no need for the public to be aware. There's some, it's a need to know basis. So by going out of your way, it seemed that he tried to protest too much to justify the SOE. It was not required. You just have to say there's a clear and present danger. There was a concern of certain matters that can affect national security. And we believe that it is warranted that we have the SOE. And, the only difference with the SOE that could be done without the SOE it allows you to break into houses without a warrant and to arrest persons indefinitely. Other than that, thing that is being done now could have been done with the SOE. And that is the determining factor because, as I said, I did it. It is known as a national security alert state. It's a color-coded assessment based on the threat, and you lift it up from green to amber to red to black based on the threat. You intensify your patrols, your police officers, take persons off leave, make sure you work more in a greater manner with the defense force. All of these things could be done, and he could have said all of these things are taking place. But to go out of your way to specify, it was not required. But it goes right back to the importance of us making sure there's a proper assessment done when we select a commissioner of police.
Right, and we see a situation where, persons say, put them behind bars, send them to some person, dead. A situation where even those high-risk criminals that are already behind bars are now being exposed as being a serious threat to Trinidad and Tobago's safety and security. What needs to be done to deal with these high-risk criminals if the solution is to put them in prison, but even behind bars, they're still causing mayhem?
Good question. And two things on that. That is why I drafted the Ministry of Justice for Kamala Prasad-Bisesa in 2010. I spent weeks and weeks, if not months before 2010 general election to draft the Ministry of Justice for her. When it was implemented, the two ministers didn't have a clue. They did nothing as it pertained to that Ministry of Justice. I drafted the Ministry of Justice specifically for this reason. And unfortunately, the present minister, he has not said a word. The Ministry of Justice was drafted to put everything that involves in the prison, the criminal justice system, into that ministry to deal with the number of issues we have with the criminal justice system, from persons being in remand for a longer period than the maximum sentence had they been found guilty, to persons, when they go into prison, they become a more hardened criminal because instead of proper rehabilitation, we have a higher rate of recidivism. The situation with almost 80% of police officers being absent from court and cause persons to escape. And then also the big one, obviously, and many other things, but also the big one, prisoners having easy access to communicate and continue to run their racket whilst in prison. That is the drafting of the Ministry of Justice. Unfortunately, it seems that they shifted prisons back to the Ministry of Homeland Security, which means people are asking, well, what is the reason for the Ministry of Justice? That Ministry of Justice will deal with all of these issues. You need a ministry by itself to clean up the many irregularities we have in the criminal justice system, inclusive of the prisons. And then as it pertains to an operational perspective, I had the exact situation as Commissioner of Police. Prisoners were involved in calling hits on persons on the outside, including public officials. I didn't run to the government and start to cry as a commissioner and say, oh, it's too much for me. I want a state of emergency because I can't deal with it. No, I analyzed the situation. I did a combat appreciation and I looked at what was required. And instead of taking the prisoners and sending them to an army camp to have a Guantanamo Bay in Trinidad and Tobago. What I did instead was I looked at a specific wing in Golden Grove. I used TTPS funds, refurbished it, put cameras at every single angle, inclusive of 3 different elements in every cell, monitored everything, had the police, the army, and private security, and the prisons have a command to see everything that takes place 24 hours in that wing. Then have a 3-layered security approach of 2 soldiers, 10 feet later, 2 police officers, 10 feet later, 2 prison officers. So if a matchstick has to enter into those cells, it must go through 3 layers. And if anything is leaving, it must go out through those 3 layers. That prevented the presence of one rogue element in the prison as a prison officer sending a cell phone or a message from the prisoner out into the public. That is how I would have dealt with it. That is how it was dealt with, and it was everything was shut down. That is when we started seeing the highest reduction in violent crime in 17 years, because we put a lockdown of the problem without having to turn, as I said, Tetron barracks into a Guantanamo Bay and then call in a state of emergency. That is my take on it. If persons have a difference in opinion because you want to, this is not attacking the government. This is the Commissioner of Police making the recommendation. Government. So this is not the government's fault. This, again, it goes back to the importance of a commissioner of police having the tactical ability. Sometimes if you spend 27 years behind a desk in special branch, you might not be able to be operationally, have that operational ability to understand these things. So as soon as you see your problem, you will, if there's too much traffic, you will run to a government and keep calling for a state of emergency. This was a commissioner's recommendation and the government was left with no choice. The commissioner now must bear responsibility for it. My take on it, as I said, I had the exact situation with the exact prisoners and it was dealt with in a proper manner without removing the prisoners and calling for a state of emergency.
Right, and have you taken the time to write to this new administration requesting that some of those, key strategies that you utilized during your time be reinstated to ensure Trinidad and Tobago stability as it pertains to security?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a team player. I'm a patriot of Team Trinidad and Tobago. I did the same thing when Keith Rowley was the Prime Minister. I said, look, I'm not a member of your political party, but I think I had a measured degree of success as a Minister of National Security and a Commissioner of Police. I believe I can assist you in giving free advice. And he said, basically, I don't care about you. I don't need your support. You're not a PNM. That is the arrogance of Keith Rowley, and his whole political party paid the price for that type of arrogance. It is hoped and expected that this government does not do the same thing, because this was the same Prime Minister now when she said just a few months before the election that Gary Griffith was the best commissioner the country ever had. She was the one that was insisting that I accompany her when we were going to have the anti-crime talks with the PNM government. So I have sent numerous messages. There's been no response. And that is their right. If it is they feel that we only want to work with people who have a UNC party card, I am hoping that there's a greater degree of maturity by this administration than what would have been seen by the Rowley administration. You're not one of us, so I don't want your help. And the country paid the price for it from a national security perspective. I know, as I said, I drafted the Ministry of Justice, I drafted the Ministry of Defense, I drafted the Ministry of Home Affairs, which they now call Homeland Security. I did all the research, and I can assure the country that if these 3 ministries are properly implemented with the type of procedure and policies, we will be able to put a stranglehold and deal with the problems of security in this country. But I have offered it, I have sent it, but sometimes you see arrogance. Even this Commissioner of Police, he has actually blocked me. How you can be a Commissioner of Police and you decide to block a previous Commissioner of Police? That is pettiness, it's his immaturity, but it says a lot about persons who get in position. The most dangerous thing is for an ignorant person to have authority. Because if you feel like you don't want to speak to anyone, when I was Commissioner or Minister, I didn't care who you were. That's why I foolishly sent a message to the whole country. If you have any concern or recommendation, contact me directly as the Commissioner of Police. That is what you need to be. Make yourself accessible. But to have persons who are now ministers blocking people, refusing to meet with them, refusing to communicate with them, refusing to take advice, you do not want to believe that this is an animal farm.
Understood. And, even as you touched on the matter of political interference and how, political ideologies can cloud persons' judgment, what can be done to ensure that persons see beyond just their political affiliation, that, okay, I support this administration has called an SOE through the Commissioner of Police, I support it because I support this administration. What is needed for persons to, look beyond that political loyalty and really see that this threat to Trinidad and Tobago's security is a serious one, and that the persons who are capable of, presenting ideas and solutions should be considered?
Well, it is a degree of maturity. That is the word. But sometimes we are so immature. When there'll be 1/3 of the country, regardless of what a UNC tell her, my political leader can do what she wants, I am going to support her. I will find a justification for what she did. 1/3 of the country has the same thing with the PNM. And then there'll probably be 1/3 of those persons with some degree of impartiality, independent thinkers, those persons who decide the outcome of an election. The majority of those decided that regardless of what, that PNM has to go because they have passed that threshold of being logical. They've become arrogant. They've become dictatorial. What we do not want is for this government to ever reach to that threshold of doing exactly right, because then it just becomes a recurring situation every 5 years to keep changing. Because it's always going to be two major political parties. There's never going to be a need for a third party that can get anywhere. You're not even going to get a deposit. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there are two very powerful parties who have done so much towards the development of Trinidad and Tobago. And they've made mistakes because the people who lead the parties are human. But it is hoped that citizens must, instead of just being bitter and angry, if at any time you perceive that someone is saying something that might not be in support of your political party, you just blindly want to support. I can tell you, if you look on social media, I have been on about 15 different interviews by the media who have contacted me. I don't contact the media. And the comments I get, there's not one thing that person could say it that could question my logic. So what they do is they immediately get nasty. They get bitter. Why don't shut up, Gary? Why don't go on vacation? You're not one of we. You lose the. When you hear those comments, absolutely nothing of logic to state, well, what you're saying is incorrect, because they can't question the message, so they attack the messenger. That is when you are the blind loyalist, and it goes on both sides. If Gary Griffith tomorrow becomes the Minister of National Security or Commissioner of Police, those same people attacking me will be praising me, and this is unbelievable. So it is not based on the individual; it's based on the appointment and whether they are political leaders like you or not. Citizens, be a little more mature. What we are doing, certain persons with experience in certain fields, finance, energy, health, national security, if we are giving you information, it is for you to take it, absorb it, and you come to an informed decision, rather than his comments make sense, but it's affecting my political party, so I'll just attack him. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help the country. My job is to serve the country as a soldier, as a politician, as a police officer. I can give free advice. I'm not here. I don't need a job. I don't need a position. But I know very well what can be done to improve the standard of living in Trinidad and Tobago, especially as it pertains to security. If this government is willing to be mature in contrast to what the last government was, I'm a full call away.
Right, and you explained this current SOE to be somewhat of an overkill, highlighting other strategies that could have been used as opposed to going straight to a state of emergency, and particularly some of those that you had implemented during your time as Commissioner of Police. Do you think that same level of maturity is the reason why the current Commissioner of Police and leadership of the TTPS did not tap into some of those strategies that you deem to have been effective during your time in office?
Well, it could be that, or the individual who now holds the office. We do have to understand that he spent most of his time behind a desk. He never really was involved in any type of operations. The reason why I had measured success in my period as Commissioner of Police, because we were smack in the middle of a situation where police services all over the world were being annihilated, they were being despised, they were being ridiculed of how they were operating, because COVID was conflict between the police and citizens. Because of my military training, that was the right time to have a Commissioner of Police with that type of leadership to be able to deal with operations, to deal with tactics, to deal with intelligence-driven policing. I had that ability. This present commissioner, I think he ever probably, the poor guy, even wearing a camouflage uniform, he doesn't even know how to put up his sleeves. He puts on a skull on his as an emblem, not understanding. You put on these things, it's supposed to be a representation of something you're certified in or something you represented, whether it was a training session or something. He doesn't know what tactical, he's not operational. He's very administrative from intelligence gathering in Special Branch. He spent 95% of his police career behind a desk in Special Branch. So he may not have that. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm not criticizing, because Gary Griffith, I have very little training in law. But what I did is I brought qualified attorneys to help me as Commissioner of Police to deal with my shortcomings. He has shortcomings as well. And instead of just his shortcoming, instead of trying to get experts that are operational and tactical that would have been able to tell him, you know, when we had the same situation with Gary, this is what we did. Bam, we had an alert state. Bam, we put our wing inside there. Bam, we brought in the army. And so you brought the army into the prison rather than take the prisoners out to court in an army camp. He doesn't have those advisors. He doesn't have that advice, have the training. So first reaction is knee-jerk, call a state of emergency, and send the prisoners to Guantanamo Bay. When he did that, what he has done is virtually surrendered to the criminals to tell the prisoners, you have won, we cannot secure you in our nation's prisons, which is where they're supposed to be, and the police don't have the ability to support the prisons, so we have to go to the army. That signifies defeat. That was my take on it. So he needs to appreciate the fact, that he needs to be open and be willing to understand you don't know everything, you have shortcomings as I did, and have experts around you to assist you to minimize those shortcomings.
Excellent. And we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more on this conversation right after this. So see you soon.
Start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme.
Well, I want a proper window for me house, yeah? I want no shake thing in my place.
Our commitment is simple: to provide high quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces.
We get one wall on the side and we get one hole. You can put a window there, invent something, a window for put there.
At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style.
Well, me meet ya. Me don't know who I'm talking to, but the children, cousin Tofina tell me, for call all you go get proper thing for put there. Me don't know.
Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business.
Driven? No, I ain't driving. I get a bus ticket. One of me picnic them go drop me down there. Must bring me down there. Russo Trace Springer down by the place down there.
Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products, it's about relationships. It's about you.
It's all about me? Who's your family? You know Edna and Dorka and them, you know them, but you resemble them Edward boy and them Edward people them you.
Tobago Glass Supplies, Russo Trace Spring Garden, telephone number 639-6266. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. We have been talking about the state of emergency that has been announced last week, and I have been having that conversation this morning with former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith. Now, you indicated that as it pertains to the announcement of a state of emergency, it should always come from the government, the sitting administration, even the Prime Minister. How can these type of communications be structured to ensure a balance between public awareness and national confidence? You did say that in a situation like this, you would not recommend the disclosure of so much information. Talk to us about how you see this, being done in an effective manner.
Why when people criticize me, I was there. We had several prison officers calling hits on other members on the outside using cell phones. There was one gang leader, 4 cell phones in 24 hours. Every time we tracked that he had a cell phone, we went in the cell, seized it. 3 hours later, he was making a call. We realized he had a cell. 4 cell phones he got in 24 hours. And it meant that they were prison officers who were giving him cell phones. Let us not be prison service. That happens all over the world. There are situations like that. The point being is that we saw what happened. We saw it transpired. They were calling hits on other persons on the outside, prison officers as well. Thankfully, I formed a special operation response team. We actually went in there into the prison, and when prisoners started misbehaving or whatever, I tried to explain to them who is the boss, and all of a sudden they backed down. So that is what needs to be done. So the concept of when people say, well, what could have been done? We had the exact scenario, and the exact scenario is it was never me running and crying. Well, let me run to the government and call a SOE, as this commissioner has done, not run and give up 30 prisons and send them to Guantanamo Bay in Stouffville Bay and Tetron Barrack. As I mentioned, the comprehensive operational plan I did. And that is why it is important when it is that you select a commissioner of police, you need people who are tactical. We didn't see it with McDonald Jacob. I saw it with Benjamin. Benjamin was very tactical, very operational on the ground, being there. And that is the type of commissioner you need at this time. Hopefully, in the next few years, if we're able to lock down the country, you can have that type of diplomatic statesman with a cane like Stephen Williams and McDonald Jacob. Right now, you need that tactical operation. And that is what should have been done, as I said. We had a wing, we brought the army into the prisons, we had CCTVs, we had a command center, and they could not make a note for months. After Gary Griffith left down, they brought them right back to the same place. Why did you shut down the wing? Why did you remove the cameras? Why did you remove the police? Why did you remove the 3-layered approach? Everything that was done, well, it was done without having to surrender the prisons. And that is my point. No, if it is that a state of emergency has already been declared and it has been approved, and this is what I will say, that let us give enough support to the police, and that really the commissioner on. You can't have a state of emergency and be just attacking the government and attacking the police for calling it. It has happened. Our job now is to give them as much support as possible so that they can be successful. Because I can assure you that with the SOE, there's going to be a decrease in the murder rate. If that was the end result in a technical backroom decision, that is what you really wanted, that is of benefit to the country, the reduction of murders, so be it. But as I said, the calling of a state of emergency, it is like a new ball. When it is when you call for that new ball, it's because you have 2 batsmen out there that are very stubborn and you need to get them out. But if you call in that new ball too soon and nothing happens, what are you left with? That was the last resort. That is why I never went to the Prime Minister for a state of emergency, because I knew I could handle out that proclamation from the President. Because when you get that and things still continue to go south, what are you going to turn to? You can't just, because some prisoners are making calls, put hits on people, you call it. The government has a right to have agreed to the view of the Commissioner of Police. Because if they did not, and things started to, the government will be held responsible. So they have to say to the expert. But the expert is supposed to be trained and qualified in understanding tactical situations, do a combat appreciation. If he does not have that, because he's only intelligence driven and he doesn't have the tactical concept to be able to be operational, he's immediately, every time the rain falls, the sun is too hot, he's going to run to the government to call a SOE and recommend a SOE. The government was in their right to have decided on it, based on what the commissioner told them. My point being that he did not have to on the road if he was trained and qualified in operations and tactics. Because the exact situation a few years ago, and we dealt with it without running to the government crying and begging to wait.
Right, and we saw a situation where even in the press release they expressed that members of the office of the public prosecutor, their lives are also in jeopardy based on this threat that is being put out by these criminals. How do you think security should be boosted in the office of the public prosecutor to ensure not just that they are safe, but that the staff feel safe? What type of security boost you think should be done in that area?
Well, there's a difference with information, intelligence, and evidence. What was stated is definitely not evidence because persons would have been arrested. So it wasn't evidence. It's not even intelligence because if it was intelligence, there would be enough justification to assemble that intelligence to turn it into evidence. So it can very well be information, and information will come about. They will listen. There were 43 death threats to myself. It didn't mean that I kept jumping from pillar to post to make sure that I had body armor if I go on tour. You can't live your life being based on hearsay and rumor and propaganda. The point being is that if you hear something, you're not going to trivialize it. What you do is you neutralize the threat, which is what I did. So if there's that there were concerns pertaining to putting hits on public officials or whatever, I took the information, you analyze it, and you neutralize the individuals that may be instrumental in conducting such a situation. So it's not so much of you trying to put a layer of thing around the individual. That is one aspect. The main element is to touch and neutralize the person who is doing it, which is what I did. And that would have been prisoners, that would have been gang leaders, that would have been persons involved in criminal activities, which is what that $200,000 hit on my head and 43 death threats and so forth, because I was targeting the individuals who would have been instrumental in probably implementing what was being, what people were saying. That is what is required. So it's a twofold approach. It is, yes, so you can put extra layers of security on the threat. But if you keep saying that we're going to put we want to be a target to the 41 members of parliament, you're not going to put 200 police officers around each member of parliament. What you do is you analyze the situation the threat is coming from, and you neutralize the threat. That is the priority. And again, all of that, what I speak about, you need to be trained in tactics, in counter-revolutionary warfare, in combat appreciation. If the present commissioner does not have that, then he's not going to understand what I'm saying. It's going to be a different language. And then what he's going to do is throw his towel in, beg for a state of emergency, and shift the prisoners into Guantanamo Bay in Trinidad and Tobago.
Excellent. And, finally, even as it pertains to moving forward in Trinidad and Tobago and how state of emergencies are called and how frequently they are called, you did highlight that this has a negative economic impact, specifically on our international partners and foreign investors, when every 2 to 3 months you hear the country is calling a state of emergency. Just explain that for the persons that are listening, how this, negatively impacts our international perception or the international perception of Trinidad and Tobago.
They should say what they want. I mean, the government is in their right to try to deny it. But I ask you, if it is that you hear Barbados has a state of emergency and they are threatened by prisoners to kill the DPP and to kill police officers and public officials, would you buy a plane ticket to go Barbados? The answer is no. The vast majority would not. Would you want to invest in Barbados? Would you want to put any sort of revenue? Would you want to do business there? It affects the economy. It affects trade. It affects investment. It affects tourism. That is a fact. The United States, 35 years later, the United States still has us on a security alert state of people, of telling U.S. citizens, when you come to Trinidad, be very careful because of terrorist activity. The last time we had any degree of terrorist activity was in 1990, and they have held on to that for their life. So you imagine, when not 35 years ago, but now a commissioner of police openly stating, well, we have prisoners who have the ability to get phones and to kill public officials and the DPP. That shows incompetence at the highest level. There is no need to have gone down that road. There's no need to have exposed something, whether it is true or not. No, the only reason you must give the public information is if the public needs to know this to assist in securing the public. So, for example, you know for a fact that there are terrorist elements who intend to blow up buildings, whatever. We now need to check. This is what you need to be aware of. If you see things in a bin in a mall or whatever, that is something totally different. That is not what this was about. This was about specifically targeted person from the prison. And if that is the case, only the individuals who may be of the possible target should have been briefed. The prisons to stop and neutralize the persons from conducting such an operation. But to tell the whole world of something that we can deal with, you have now affected trade, tourism, investment, the economy, everything. That is my point. And that it should not have gone that way. And again, this is not a fault of the government, but because of those people who just blindly want to support the politicians. Well, the government appointed this man. If the government appointed this man, we can't attack this individual. That is not how you operate. How does that help you? How does that help your family? How does that help your country? You have to stop being politically blinded and start thinking of the bigger picture. Think of Team TNT rather than Team Political Party. Because this is not a fault of the government. I'm not blaming the government for what has been done. What has been done was a knee-jerk approach that could have been dealt with in a better manner. As I said quickly again, he had no right to have sent a recommendation and gone public without the government approving. He had no right to made a media conference to preempt what was going to be said by the government. He had no right to have bypassed his blind minister by going straight to the prime minister. And above all, he had no right to have given so much information that has affected us regionally and internationally and put fear on the citizens when this matter. You know how many things I was aware of as commissioner of police. If every time I hear this, I do a press conference to tell the country the concerns of what is taking place from a national security perspective. People wouldn't be taking their children to school. It does not work that way. National security does not work that way. And unless you have proper ministers and commissioners who understand that, you're going to put undue panic to affect the country, because the only thing that is more important than reduction of crime is the perception of and fear of crime. And if it is you do the wrong thing and say the wrong thing, then you would have failed.
So we want to thank you so much for your time this morning and for, giving us a bit of your expertise there as former police commissioner. We're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more conversations right after this. See you soon.
A brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power. We are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers. We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
PC. Let's get on the news. Scandal, just keep it back. Down to the root of the discrepancy. It says I worry that.
Good morning, and we are back and we are coming to you live and we are bringing to you some footage from what's happening right now in Charlotteville. This morning I have my colleague that is there on the other side over there in Charlotteville. Good morning.
Come, Vivi, come. Come.
Good morning. Good morning. We are bringing you live footage from Charlotteville. Good morning, Baker. How are you doing?
Good morning, Chanel. I'm good. I am excited here. It's all about beautiful scenery right here in Charlotteville.
Right, and we know that you are on the scene and you are having a bit of a chat there with Mrs. Annette Alfred. What is the conversation like? What is happening there this morning? Give us a little bit of insight. We hear you guys are chatting it up. You're getting all that information, all the history. So let us in a bit on that conversation this morning.
Name is synonymous with heritage on the island. She's one of our stalwarts here in Tobago. We were having a conversation about tradition, walk and sexual, so it's actually my first time. I've been times, but it's my first time into the time. I have Miss Alfred, one of the persons with the knowledge and here. So, that's what the discussion is about. And we'll head straight to just to give us an understanding all the persons who are at home and wondering the National Treasure Day. The perfect person to tell you why you're supposed to be up here. Good morning, Miss Annette Alfred. Good morning,
sir. How are you?
Behind the scenes of what happens here.
Well, treasures the treasures that abound in. We have so many of them that we feature some all the time. We Campbellton that will buy many years ago. The Europeans fought for. They said
We seem to be having a bit of a technical
So we have
difficulty with the audio and the visual.
Static.
Yeah, we will have our technical team adjust that a bit because we really don't want to miss out on such an insightful conversation. So we'll take a quick break right here. We'll adjust whatever needs to be adjusted and we'll be back really soon. So guys, stick with us as we rectify some of these issues.
Yeah, they're saying that they're not.
Well,
Conversation with Ned Alfred and name everyone knows when it comes to Tobago heritage. So I'm here in Charlotteville. I just had my first. Wow, that saltfish. Charlotteville, I'll always be back. So hi, Miss Annette Alfred. Thanks for being. A lot of persons know you knowledge, a lot of knowledge when it comes to the Tobago heritage and especially Treasure Day because I know you're in your village, your home. So tell us a little bit about for persons who now coming for the first time or now coming. Just give us a little national heritage, Treasures Day.
I extend a welcome to everybody, and I know you will come again. Natural Treasures Day exposes what Charlotteville has that many people may not have seen or many people don't know about. We start with a upper Campbellton. Campbellton is a fort that by the French many years ago when all French fought for Tobago. At Fort Campbell launch, you say your prayers, you beg God's guidance, and then you have the chief secretary launching the day's activities. To the music of the tam band, we come down the streets of Campbellton. When we get to the top of the hill, we refresh you with all sorts of things: cake, pone, bread and fish, things, local fruit drinks, things like that. From there, we go to the deadbed, which is one that a lot of people like, but we will never need to see that again. That was when we dealt with our dead people at home. So they wash the dead bed, wash their hands, their face with rum to ensure that the spirits go away and don't stay with them.
Oh, wow.
And of course, there is a conversation there. Some comments, somebody would happen at the washing of the dead bed. From the dead bed, we go to the estate cocoa house. And for many of us, people, especially my age, it means so much because our daddy used to say, he sent us to school. Free education was not very much at that time. We had to pay school fees. If you couldn't pay school fees, you would smoke a pipe. The cocoa house, you see how it's been left to ferment, and then after fermentation, we put it out in the cocoa tray. Some had trays, some had down, low. From the trays, when it's dried, we now see cocoa and the best quality out of it. And I think that is something that people love, to see the dancing cocoa that we also see today. From the dancing of the cocoa, we go to where the coal spit. There's where the shows are being made for use in your barbecue pit. You pot long time coal pot and stuff. From there, we go up to the bakery. Well, the bakery would offer you anything you want that is baked. Bread, loaf bread, hops bread, sweet bread, drops, bone, cooked tart, roly-poly, anything you want as baked goods, you find it up at the bakery. We call it village bakery. From bakery, we go to where they saw the wood. Those days, they did the sawing of the wood for building your wooden house, doing your furniture, your cabinet, your wagonette, and stuff like that. So we show them how the wood was hewn. From there, we go to the mill, and Batty there is not a bad word.
I know a lot of persons.
They to get the that is what they used to make sugar. And we used to have cane sugar. These days hardly, but we still try to do cane oil, you can use. So that's not all. You remember coming down the road from the Fort Campbell. We come to the village Tambu Bamboo Band.
A highlight.
I think so.
Yes.
And a lot of people also like to get bamboo. Whether they be right way or not, the bamboo. In the well, of course, before that, lunchtime is any kind of food you want. Stew, fish, chicken, pork, crab and dumpling, anything like that can contain provision, rice and peas. You get anything you want. Local fruit drink, tambourine drink. Well, it's tambourine, really, but we call it tambourine. Yes. Cherry, Moby, you get all of that to drink. Everything is prepared for you here in Charlotteville. So you shouldn't miss that. In the afternoon, we give you a lanyap. Oh, yeah. A lanyap is a kind of bonus. You have been good to us. You came, you visited us, and you have been good. So we decide that we are going to give you a lanyap. The lanyap is the so you have the village choir, dance troupe, speech band, paper girl, and with a sort of old-time calypso session. We are going to feature happy. And no anybody want to miss that. I don't think anybody wants. The day in Charlotte is just, will just be lovely. It will just be great as usual. And as this, Charlotteville is loaded.
Yes.
I don't know next year. We are both since last year. I hope that by next year, we will be able to get the boat, bring in, the thousands of people rather than suffer them on the streets with nowhere to park or stuff like that. So, enjoy natural treasures here. Anybody who comes would always come back. They don't miss this at all. Natural Treasures Day. Digging out all the natural treasures. And if you have an occasion, we take you up to Flagstaff, where is a famous place where you can see nearly the whole Charlotteville. Place to rest and relax, Flagstaff. And today, we are going to aid the audience with a band of pirates coming out of pirates.
Yes.
You would have the loveliest sea bathing area in not only Tobago, in the Caribbean. That's how it's linked. Regardless of what they say about who and where, Pigeon Point and all these places cannot compare with Pirates Bay. The serenity of Pirates Bay, the ability to snorkel and things like that. So come to Charlotteville, jump in some vehicle now. You might have to walk down the hill because I heard the police stopping the traffic after a certain time. But come, and you could pass on the you can pass on the north side road. So come to Charlotteville. Natural.
So right here, Tobago updates for persons who are the foodie type of persons. Could you just tell them what is a must-have to try when it comes to food when it's this festival?
You try all, but then you know Charlotteville is famous for fish broth.
Fish broth.
Because of the sea out there. But our food is really always upstanding. Our food would finish before 1 o'clock in the day.
Wow.
You have to cook twice to be able to manage, you know, the number of people that are here.
Well, thank you, Ms. Alfred. Your wealth of knowledge is extremely great. You are important to what happens right here in Tobago. We want to say continue, you know, playing that part and that role in making Tobago heritage what it is for today.
You will always get that from me until my eyes finally.
Definitely. So you got it from the mouth of Miss Annette Alfred herself. You need to come up here. It's all about Natural Treasure Days. There are things to eat. There are performances. As I said before, I have been to Natural Treasure Day before, but I never went through the experience of doing the walk and dancing of the cocoa. So those are two of the things I'm looking forward to right now. So you will see me out there, tracking road to the beat of the
Tambu Bamboo.
Tambu Bamboo.
But it's time to go there because they start at 9.
Yes, so we're heading out there. We're going to be tracking down to the beat of the Tambu Bamboo. Then we go to dance the cocoa. Don't forget the goodies, as she said, when you reach the bottom, you will
refresh yourself.
Refresh yourself, as Miss Annette Alfred says. So look out, all you persons coming up, make sure time so you can have this experience right here in Charlotteville. So Tobago Updates, stay locked on for all your heritage information, all your heritage viewership activities right here on Tobago Updates.
That was satisfactory?
Very.
Okay. Well,
thank you very much.